The Transmission Company of Nigeria provides the vital transmission infrastructure between the generating companies and the distribution companies' feeder substations. In our interview this week, we conclude our earlier conversation with the managing director of the company on efforts to stabilize the transmission aspect of the power sector. Watch. Mr. Mohammed Usman, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
You've been advocating for a transmission electricity market because of the industrial tariff, it imposes on some customers, according to you. Can you explain what this exactly means?
In transmission, as I told you, we are the link between generators and the distribution. Literally, we supply very few customers are connected to the transmission network. It's only very high demand power users, like most of those steel companies, that are connected to our network. Most of the time, people get supplied through distribution companies. So we don't have we have little interface with end customers. But in recent time, the Minister of Power declared what they call eligible customer. The eligible customer is our customers that are customers of generation companies that are connected directly to our grid. So we supply them directly from the grid, but the contract they have is with the generation companies. So they pay the generation companies, and our cost is just a pass-through cost. And that's how it is eligible customer. And I think that has also helped a lot of industries, because the eligible customer has some level of what they call liquidated damage. Either the transmission company or the generation company, if they don't generate or they don't meet up their obligation, they will have to pay the customer liquidated damage. And that's why if you look at those customers, they have been doing very well in recent time. And we are working to expand this kind of facility, because as a nation, if you look at this nation, if you compare us to our neighboring countries, particularly countries like Ghana, the only area we have comparative advantage over Ghana is actually electricity. It's only electricity, because if you look at the ease of doing business, we cannot compare to Ghana. Why? Because Ghana is a unitary state where you don't have states. The counties or the regions are actually a subset of the national. So they can impose tax or impose levy or impose condition of doing business. But here we have states, and the states are independent of federal. So if you are talking about a business that has been established here in Abuja, for example, let's say Lagos, for example, they have to meet the condition of the federal and meet the condition of the state. So in terms of ease of business, definitely we are going to have multiple taxation, multiple way of doing, of charges.
In spite of, whatever charges there is, we still don't see the power supply.
I'm getting there. I wanted to tell you that we need to fix the power, and we need to supply our industries in a way that is cost effective, because we have comparative advantage in terms of electricity. Because we are, in terms of conventional generation in the whole of West Africa, we are the cheapest in terms of conventional generation. There is no part of West Africa, apart from few hydros, that we can generate electricity cheaper than Nigeria. As at now, we are the biggest exporter of energy in West Africa, as at now. So we need to fix the electricity, and one of the ways we need to fix is to fix the grid. Now, if you look at the grid as at now, we have done a lot of work under the Transmission Rehabilitation Expansion Program. For us to modernize the grid, we need to do 4 things, and those 4 things, I will tell you where we are, at which level that we are. 1, we need to achieve frequency control. Frequency control is the balance of the generation and distribution, meaning the supply and the demand must be balanced. That is the frequency control. I want to tell you that in the history of this country, the first time we take a concerted effort to ensure that we have our frequency under control was now. It was in May 2017 that we achieved frequency control of 49.5 and 50.5. And we upgraded it to 49.75 and 50.25, which is the NAC standard, from December 23rd to date, which we have achieved at the rate of about 85% of the time. We have never achieved this kind of frequency level in the history of the grid in Nigeria.
So how much power supply does that translate to the ordinary Nigerian? Because I know power supply is still a major issue, right? And nobody really sees that light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I will tell you how it is. It's step by step. If I explain to you what transmissions do, I will now tell you where we have problem, particularly in the fact that our distribution network is still very weak. We need to capitalize the discourse because we made mistake actually in the way we did the privatization. And
what mistake?
There are several mistakes we did. First of all, there's no model like the model we are using. There's no model.
Is it obsolete, or what exactly?
No, it's not obsolete. It's so ambitious. We are supposed to follow step by step. If you look at, if you ask most people, they will tell you that the model we used was Indian model. But Indian model was that they privatized one state. The experience they learned from that state is what they used to privatize the next state, which is next state. So as at the time, they advised us actually only 2 states were privatized. But what did we do? We privatized everything and put a contingent liability of over 5 billion on the country. That's what we did. So it was so ambitious, and there are several mistakes that was made. I want to tell you that I was actually the secretary of the first private sector intervention in the power sector when we brought private sector to help us with revenue collection. If you remember, at that time we brought Lisa that helped us with revenue collection in Lagos Island. Global utilities was Shomolu and Ikorodu. We have Manitoba Hydro that do for Kano, Aba, and Port Harcourt, and several other places. I was the secretary of that committee. If you look at the revenue cycle, which I was secretary, we have about 2 or 3 experiences that you cannot find it in the privatization we did. And what are those experiences? Under the RCM, there was exit strategy. We didn't have exit strategy in this hour. So
are you saying there wasn't wide consultation before this plan was drawn up, or is that there's no way forward to this?
Yeah, there's way forward, and that's where we made some suggestions. There's way forward. We implemented right thing wrongly. You understand? So I salute the government for not reversing that privatization, because actually this is the right thing that we're going to do. Because government cannot invest in the power sector on a sustainable basis. It's not possible. So definitely we have to go the way of private sector. So now that we have created companies that have created several problems, for example, we have a liquidity challenge. You know about the 2013 billion that was given as a power sector support by central bank. You know about 701, what you call payment assurance. These are all public money that are pumped in the power sector. And after privatization, I don't think we need to do this. So what we are suggesting is that instead of doing this, I think we are suggesting that we need to go another way. And what is those way? We need to capitalize the discourse, because as at now, one of the biggest challenges we have is that the discourse have no capital. I mean, there's no investment in the discourse. As at now, we have 737 interfaces with the distribution companies across the country. Out of these 737 interfaces, only 421 that the discourse have complete protection. The remaining 316 is either there's no protection or there is a minimal protection. And what does that mean? You know, power is about protection. If you go to your house now, you will have what they call ELCV. You will have cut-out, isn't it? And what is the purpose of that cut-out and ELCV? The purpose of that ELCV and cut-out is that if there's a problem in your house should be isolated from the grid. That is the reason. If the ELCV failed to perform and the cut-out failed to perform, what will happen? Whatever problem that is in your house will go to the substation and burn it. And that is why protection is very key. Now, if you look at in recent times, because of lack of investment in the discourse and our interface is not properly protected, we are also losing transformers. Even though, if you look at in the last 2 years, we have installed more transformers, more than what was done in previous 15 years. But we expand the grid.
Yeah, the problem still.
We expand the grid from 5,000 to, as at December, to 8,100. Because we empower TCN engineers to install equipment and transformers and equipment. But still, we are losing some transformers because we are connected, we are supplying customers directly. Because discourse network is very weak. Because they carry their 33 kV directly from our transformer to their customers without having a protection between us, that is injection substation. And this has led to about 5 transformers in the last 1 year. Power transformers have given way. In Abuja, we lost 2 transformers, one in Kubwa and one in Karu. And these are the transformers that are supplying customers directly. And then in Benin, we lost 2. In Onitsha, we lost 1.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mohammed.
Thank you, Madam.
Usman, for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you for your mails and tweets as always. Keep sending in your views and comments using the email address and Twitter handle on your screen. Also, be sure to share anything happening within your locality. Don't you forget you can view the program on youtube.com/channelsweb/videos. Thank you for watching this week. I'm Gloria Umezuke. See you again.